Hey everyone, and welcome back to Adobe Live. It is so good to see you guys after having the holiday break. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday and Happy New Year. My name is Cody, and I will be your host for the next hour. Welcome everyone. It's so good to see you guys. Hi, Wade, Barbara, Bruce. Hello everyone. Hi. Thank you so much for joining today. So we're just gonna be having a really chill stream today. Like, feel free if you guys want to draw along with me. I don't know if maybe you already sent out your New Year's cards, but if not, feel free to maybe draw along with me, and maybe you can make your own project for your loved ones if you like, or like print it out, or you can send it digitally through email. Either way would work. Or of course, you can always just post it on social media as well. You can make a little Instagram post or something. But yeah, we're going to be designing New Year's cards today. So yeah, hi everyone. Hi, McCarn. Good to see you. It feels like we've been away from Adobe Live for so long. I have to get back into the swing of streaming again. So yeah, I just wanted to start talking to you guys a little bit about my process and how I go about designing greeting cards. Funny enough, I don't actually always design my own greeting cards, like for family. A lot of the time I'm lazy and I will just buy them. So I do like designing greeting cards for fun though, and also for client work as well. So I want to take you through my process in thinking about designing greeting cards and how I go about doing that. Hey Akun, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Good to see you guys. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing I think about when it comes to designing a greeting card, especially, I guess not necessarily a greeting card, but let's say a holiday card. I guess not all greeting cards are necessarily holiday. But a lot of them are related to some kind of specific celebration or party or something like that. So typically, as you can see, my little doodles up here on the top, I immediately start either writing down a list or doodling some iconography. If you guys aren't familiar with that term, iconography is basically just like the specific symbols that we think about when it comes to specific subjects, or in this case, New Year's Eve, or New Year's in general. Basically, like the things that you think about when you think of New Year's. For instance, we typically have iconography of champagne glasses, like champagne flutes, or a lot of the time merchandise is in golds and blacks and silvers for New Year's Eve. We also think about sparklers and fireworks, and maybe some winter foliage that could go with that too, or stars. Our new little New Year's Eve hats, 2024 glasses, although I didn't draw that because it's very detailed. Hi, Jack. How are you doing? Good to see you guys. So yeah, I started just brainstorm some iconography here, and I just wanted to use this stream basically just to give you guys some inspiration for your own cards, whether it just be New Year's Eve or any of the upcoming holidays that you might have, or even just personal holidays, whether it be, like a congratulations or anything like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this here. I have a few ideas in mind. I wanted to start out with just like very minimal greeting card ideas, because when I first started designing greeting cards, I felt really down on myself because I am not very skilled with hand lettering. Raise your hand in chat if you are not great at hand lettering, nor do you dislike your handwriting. Let me know if you like or dislike your own handwriting. I have gotten a little bit better when it comes to handwriting on my work, just because I typically use my handwriting over fonts with my work. Unless I'm using just like a normal serif font. Typically, I like to handwrite everything on my artwork. But I am not great with cursive. And I'm not great with hand lettering as much as I have tried over the years, so I just try to stick to kind of what I know in a sense. I have just like tried to do it in my own way, and I've come to realize that you don't necessarily need to be like a master at hand lettering to be able to make a really nice looking card. So Jennifer says my cursive is horrendous. Oh my goodness, you guys, my cursive is awful. I am left-handed and I write in this position, like with my hand upside down. So I have always been really bad at cursive. So I typically stick to, actually, I usually stick to caps, all caps when I write for my artwork. So yeah, it's not great. It's not great. But if you guys are thinking about maybe doing like some minimal designs, for instance, you could actually just do something like this. This is what I see a lot from like just studying big card companies like Papyrus or you know, anything that you might see in a department store or even just boutique websites. You'll see very minimal cards that sell a lot. And I'll tell you what, it is so simple. Like here, let's just do this. Let's just take 2 seconds to draw a little champagne flute or even clinking champagne glasses. I might go ahead and do that. Clinking champagne glasses. Let's go. We could even save time. I'll tell you guys, I'm gonna save time. Go like this. Copy and paste a second one. And then we are going to transform this. We're going to push that right into the middle there, maybe a little bit above middle. And then we are just going to write Happy New Year. And you could even do this with a font if you wanted. But I am going to do kind of a wide space and wide letter uppercase. I know my head is tilted right now. I probably look really silly. That is my concentration face while I'm writing. I always have to tilt my head to the side. Of course, that's not very straight. If you wanted to, actually, what I should have done is go like this and draw some little lines here, and then I can just lasso my letters. And then we're just going to shift that down into our guidelines here. Gareth says, true calligraphy left-handed is a nightmare in smudged letters and an ink-covered hand. Oh yeah, I used to get that a lot when I would write in school with gel pens. I can't stand gel pens because they need time to dry after you've written. So I always use ballpoint pens because being left-handed with gel pens is just a nightmare. So we're just going to move our guidelines down. I might actually change it up. I think I might make this larger just to kind of add a little bit of interest. So we might do some big letters. As you guys can see, I am keeping this so simple. Happy New. And also, just wanted to throw this out there that if you are not an illustrator, you could also very easily do this in Adobe Express. Especially with one of my favorite parts of Adobe Express is the little icon section, not shapes, but there's a section that has different icons. I use that so often. I made the thumbnail for the stream in Adobe Express, and I used like they had little icons relating to New Year's Eve in Adobe Express, and you could very easily use the little icons for the champagne flutes, and then you could also use the magic text to kind of give this look to your text, and it could be done in seconds. Happy New Year. But if you are an illustrator and you want kind of just like a little bit of a personal flair to it, you can also illustrate it like I am. You can kind of just like stretch your text. And because this is just the, you know, the initial kind of sketching phase, and I'm going to go over this with some final lines here. I'll probably, when I do the final lines, I would probably turn on smoothing, so then it wouldn't be so difficult for me. Sometimes I have some shaky hands, you know. We got some shaky hands sometimes. So, okay. So we have our little design here. And let's see, do I want to add anything else? You know, I mean, it's as simple as that. We could add maybe some little lines here, maybe some little stars, kind of give it a little bit of a party feeling. Happy New Year. I kind of actually, when I did the little bracket earlier, I kind of liked that look. I've seen cards with like brackets like this around the text, just for an idea. Or you could also maybe just put like a little box around your text. I might do this on a separate layer just so we can space it properly. So we can stretch it a little bit. Happy New Year. And then in that case, I might like move my my flutes up. Jennifer says, us lefties always look silly to normal muggles. Hi, Paul. Welcome. Happy New Year. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you all, again, I hope you all had a great holiday. Good to see you guys again. I think I might actually leave this one without a border. I think I like that just the way it is like that. And it would just be a really nice little minimal design. And you could swap this out with different things too. I mean, you could copy and paste this design, and like if you were you know, sending this to a client, maybe they were interested in you designing some projects for New Year's, for instance, you know, you could send them different versions of the same design. If maybe they weren't interested in these flutes being here, you know, you could instead do you know, a little party hat or something. I was actually looking at, I noticed that some of you guys are using the little like confetti cone emoji. That might actually be cute and trendy to actually use. I've seen a lot of companies lately doing this, like using the actual emojis that we're familiar with in their products. So like we could actually draw a little cone confetti cone that looks like the emoji. Here, I'm gonna look at chat to get reference for our cone emoji here. It's got little stripes on it, and then it's just kind of got some confettis like that. That might be cute too, especially if you use the same colors, like the cone is yellow and purple, and then people start to associate that. And just because it's a familiar look, they might be more likely to purchase that card. Yeah, let's move on to the next design, you guys. Hi, Oliver. Welcome, everyone. Good to see you guys. I also wanted to show off the idea that, you know, typically a card, I believe it's like 5x6. And you don't necessarily have to do that. Like if, for instance, if you're just making this for your family, you know, you could print it off at home, whether you know, print it on cardstock or just regular printer paper. But you could also, you know, just throw a design into a square as well. A design that I was thinking for a square that could work would be doing kind of like a flat lay where all of the pieces kind of fit together like a puzzle. So you can throw in your different iconography into a little design. Maybe let's go like this. So like, let's say this square is our card, and I might actually just kind of like almost treat it like a Polaroid, maybe. kind of just with the way that the layout is. And I might go, I'm not gonna, well, I would draw in cursive just so it looks like handwriting, but Happy New Year! You can't read that. I'm okay, scribbles. But then we could just like start throwing in like our little champagne flute and kind of make it just like a little flat lay. Put some little bubbles. And maybe we have a bottle over here. Little champagne bottle. Hi Dee, welcome. How are you doing? Happy New Year. Good to see you guys. So we have our little bottle, and then maybe I'll throw in a little hat, you know, like a little cone party hat. Did anyone do anything exciting for New Year's, by the way? I want to know what you guys got up to. We will add in some, let's try that again. We'll add in some little frillies to the top of our hat here. And we can just kind of fill in the gaps with some stars and, you know, maybe some just like some little foliage. Foliage and stars and sparkles are always a great option when you're feeling like you need to fill in space. And then maybe we can throw in like a little sparkler. Let's flip this guy upside down just because I work better when I draw bottom to top. So I'm going to flip the document upside down, and we're just going to draw in a little sparkler. Stay at home and watch TV. That's exactly what I did. I'm not a huge fan of crowds, so we actually just watched a New Year's celebration on TV. Oh, and then also, of course, don't forget your little confetti pieces as well. You can throw in some confettis and some little swirly streamers. Cool. Yeah, I like that. I think that's cool. And also again, like if you didn't have the means to print something like this out either, you could also just send it through email. It's kind of like email is kind of the snail mail of modern day. So if you didn't have the means to actually physically send something out, you could also just, you know, send your loved ones a little card through an email, which I actually specifically wanted to talk about email cards because the format, I would say, when inserting an image to an email for this vertical version is probably not the best, just because when you're looking at a screen, unless you're on a phone, unless you're vertically looking at it on a phone, if they're on a device that's more sideways, this vertical version won't be the best. So if you are considering sending some kind of little card through an email, maybe consider you know, doing it kind of short and long, so that way it's more like a banner shape, so you can put your little message above your banner or maybe below it, and then the banner would be like this in the email, and that would be your card. So I was thinking Clever says, but where does the fistful of glitter go in the emails? Oh my gosh, you guys, do not send glitter bombs to people. But I would suggest confetti in envelopes. That's always fun. Confetti's always fun. I don't know about glitter. Okay, so like let's say we wanted to do a banner. And you could even personalize it. Like you could write, you know, to whoever, to Paul, to Wade, to Barbara. Oliver, all of you guys, Umacorn, and Adobe Live. Woo! Okay. So like we could put it, you could almost like lay it out like a postcard. So like on this side is more so your message. If you want to put in a message instead of writing it out in the email, you could also just handwrite your message into it like you would be writing into a card. And then maybe on this side, you could have your design. So maybe we could write justify our text like this since we have this nice flat space here. So we could do let me write my guides first, since I forgot to do that last time. Might move these down like this, maybe? I think I might have the design more in the bottom left corner. Gareth says confetti for people like glitter for everyone else. I cannot condone the glitter. I can't. Okay, and then so we're gonna try to you know, maybe fancy it up. Don't laugh at me. Happy here, let me turn on smoothing. That's what we need. Smoothing. Don't forget about smoothing, you guys. It is your friend. It's something, okay? It's something. I'm concentrating. I would not be able to do this cursive without this smoothing, let me tell you. Maybe we'll turn the Y into the N there. That's something. We're doing it. We're doing it, guys. We're doing it. We're doing it. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. This is okay. Happy New Year. It's something, you know, it works. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? Actually, this Y is really bugging me. I'm going to kind of just... I am going to distort this guy a little bit. It's okay. It just works. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. We're gonna make it like a little design here on the left, I think. And I'm gonna make a new layer. And then we are going to just add in some little designs to take away from the terrible cursive. So what I was thinking actually is we might be able to kind of just get away with like just kind of I might actually turn smoothing on again. And we could just add in some foliage like this and kind of just make it a little bit more of like a floral design, not necessarily directly related to like New Year's Eve celebration, but just kind of winter in general. And then we can just turn smoothing off again, and we can just add in some little stars and some little hash marks, maybe some sparkles. Oh, and then maybe I might add in another branch down here just to kind of fill it out a little bit. You've spelled unicorn with a C, have I? Oh, that can't stand. Where's the layer? Now I have to hunt for the layer. There it is. There we go. Fixed. Saved. Okay. Moving on. Oh, I also wanted to talk about CJ. I've seen people in chat type Umacorn's name like that with the corn logo. Oh, it's so funny. Okay. I also wanted to maybe do a design. I did want to take one of these designs and actually finish it on stream. So yeah, maybe I might finish that one. I don't know. We'll see. My next design I was thinking about doing, for one, I wanted to, well, sorry, I'm like so indecisive right now. For one, I think I'm going to go back to this text here and kind of rework it. Yeah, I'm going to grab this, copy and paste it onto this card, and we are going to erase the little flutes. And I'm going to kind of combine ideas where we're just going to have the text in the center here. And then I'm going to, similar to our first design, and then I'm also going to try again with the winter foliage. And we're going to kind of instead of keeping it minimal, this is going to be more of a maximal look where we just cover the whole front of the card in foliage. I've seen some pretty cute designs that are like this. Again, like if you are looking for inspiration for greeting cards, I would highly suggest going on either Instagram, Pinterest, or also just going on the websites of kind of the larger greeting card companies. That can be really helpful just to kind of get ideas if you're feeling stumped on how do I put the text together to make it look really good with you know, an illustration or something like that. If you're feeling like you're a little lost when it comes to greeting card designs but you're interested in learning, really just, you know, just studying past designs of what illustrators have done. And I would say that about learning any kind of artwork, because that's really how I learned illustration as well, as studying what other people did. But yeah, don't forget about your resources online, you know, because that's easy to do. It's easy to forget. that we have all of these resources. I think I'm going to kind of just add in some little holly berries as well. Holly leaves. Just kind of giving a winter feeling rather than a like party feeling. Because maybe, you know, maybe there's people out there that don't necessarily party, but they like the idea of sending a card that is just winter themed. You know, everyone kind of has their different subjective preferences when it comes to greeting cards. Something like that. But yeah, if I went on with this, it would take the rest of the stream to fill it in, but you get the idea. So yeah, I think for the remainder of the stream, I am going to go ahead and finish up an actual file of that square design over here. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and I'm going to make a new document, and I'm going to let's see, I typically work in 8x8. If you wanted to bleed, what you would want to do, well, of course, 8x8 is big enough for a card as it is. So I guess we'll just go for it with 8x8, and I'll just add in the bleed for you guys. So typically for a card, if you are planning on printing this out, a bleed, let's see, let's bring up our, oh, for some reason my rulers are not wanting to pop up. Let's see here. Rulers. There we go. I was pressing the wrong button. Okay. So typically a bleed like in a professional setting is 1/4 of an inch about ish. But of course you could add as much bleed or as little bleed as you want, especially if it's just a personal project. But I'm just going to put some guides on here. This tells you right here that I've been away from my computer for a long time because I have forgotten my keyboard shortcuts, you guys. Oh my gosh. There we go. Woo! Getting back from vacation. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and grab... I have to find my file. There it is. Just gonna go ahead and grab this design and bring it right on over here. Oh, just realized that I have these names on. I have to delete your guys' names. Sorry. There we go. Okay, I am going to go ahead and bring this up, minding our bleed, and also not only minding our bleed. So you think about the bleed is actually just where you want to have kind of be the edge of your document. You don't really want anything important to be past the bleed, because the purpose of the bleed is to make sure that it doesn't get cut off by the printer if you're getting these cards printed by a professional. So I not only want to have the bleed, but I also want to have a bit of breathing room around my illustration as well. So I'm going to kind of bring it to there. So we have a little bit of a border to our document. I Actually, I realized I lost one of my, there we go. And then we're going to lower the opacity. The bottom part can be where our text is. I might even just go ahead and use a font. Happy New Year! Exclamation point. Of course. Some of my favorite fonts, Adobe Jensen Pro is one of my favorites. I know I hardly ever talk about fonts on streams, but Adobe Jensen Pro is one of my favorites. It's actually a recreation of, I believe, a 1600s font. It's if you go to the Adobe fonts page, it will kind of talk about what exactly it is, what era it was from exactly. I forget right now, but I really like it because it gives a very old world feeling to my work. Looking Flowers is another one of my favorites. It's kind of, this one, Looking Flowers, is that might actually be a good option for this, just because it's kind of fun. It's kind of roundy. I need to find here. Let's do 100. There we go. It's a good size. And definitely want to find a different color for this. I don't typically use black in my work very much, but I might go with like a chromatic black. I might kind of go with a purpley, or maybe, might go somewhere around there. Like that. But there's another one that I really love. I think it's called Scrapbooker. Yeah, Scrapbooker Little is also another one of my favorites I've used in my work previously. Oh, need to make this smaller. It's quite a wide font. It is a wide font. It might not work in this context specifically just because I guess it would probably need to be in 2 rows, but we don't necessarily have the space for that on this document. But I do really love this font. I actually used this on my assets file for last year's winter holiday streams. And yeah, I really like that one a lot. Again, it's kind of whimsical and fun. Adobe Handwriting is another really good one. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and go with Looking Flowers. I think that one looked pretty cute, and kind of like a party. Oh, thank you for posting those links, Wade. I really appreciate that. Okay, so I am going to just go ahead and I am going to, let's see, how do I want to do this? I think I might use this brush called Gouache Perfecto. I typically use color dynamics with this to kind of make the brush a little bit the color a little bit shifting a little bit, but I think I am just going to give a flat painterly look with this brush. I'm going to attempt to try to add a little bit of dry brushing. I'm kind of just like figuring this out as we speak, but yeah, I think that's what the look that we're going to go for here. So I am just going to use, I really like this brush actually. Let me make it really big for you guys so you can see. Light pressure, it actually does have a really nice dry brush texture. And then, you know, it also with heavier pressure, it actually has a really nice smooth gouache look to it. This is one of Kyle Webster's brushes, by the way. If you would like to download his brushes, all you have to do is have brush in your hand, right click, and then go to this gear and then go down to get more brushes, and it will open up your browser so you can download his packs. And this one is in Kyle's paint box. So this one is in Kyle's mega pack if you would like to download his brushes for free. Okay, so I am going to just throw on these shapes here, and I'm going to do so. I'm going to attempt to do it in kind of a loose way to kind of give the feeling of like loose paint strokes. It's not something that I typically do, but we're just experimenting on the fly, you know? It's actually one of my goals to kind of it's always been one of my goals to try to make my work more loose and painterly. But I personally typically end up falling into that hole of perfectionism with my work. So I typically always end up cleaning up my lines and I lose a lot of my texture. So it takes a lot of self-discipline for me at least, to leave my work messy, you know, with the messy textures, even though that's the look that I want. It's like I'm fighting myself. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna grab this purpley color and we can use that throughout the work. I'm going to throw that into our hat here. And also gouache is really nice. It kind of just gives a really like handmade feeling. Also, if you are a digital artist and you are trying to get your work to look more traditional, I highly suggest trying to not use undo as much and also using less layers. That's something that I have learned over time, even though it is just natural instinct for me to reach for the undo button. Of course, if you're traditionally painting, you would not have an undo button. So, yeah, that's something that, again, I've had to work on with self-discipline and just trying to make my work look a little bit more traditional as I undo. Actually, I think for line work, I might come in with a crayon or pencil brush. So I'm gonna leave that as it is. One layer club. Oh, I can't do the one layer. I can't do the one layer. I do try to fudge it a little bit where I make it seem like I'm using one layer, but really in all reality, I did it on multiple layers just because I'm so worried about messing something up. So, I've gotten better at making it appear that I've painted on one layer, when in reality it might be just like a few layers, but I definitely have lowered my layer count over the years. I used to be using so many layers for each piece. I think what I'm going to do also is I'm only going to, like I said a second ago, I'm only going to paint the larger swatches of color, and I might do everything else as an outline. That might give it kind of just like a different stylized look, I guess. I'm gonna paint over top of this. Again, I'm not worried about going over my shapes or anything. This is so different from my normal workflow. Not undoing. I have my hand off of the keyboard shortcut. Okay, let's see. What color do I want to do the champagne bottle? Champagne itself, I painted gold. So we can add some little bubbles here. Only partially, JK. Let's see. What color should I do it? We could... I did the party hat in purple. So let's see. Do I want to add another color, or do I want to keep with this purple and gold? Decisions. What about adding in a cream color, like a dark cream color? That might be too close to the champagne color itself. Let's just go ahead and add in the champagne. I guess that might actually be why we ended up with gold as one of the main colors for New Year's, just because champagne is typically gold. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Never really thought about it. And then gold and black always look really classy. We'll just fill in those gaps there, trying to leave a bit of texture. And I am going to fill in the top of the liquid here. And let's see. I also want to fill in the star here. Okay. And then we are going to actually, I'm almost doing this on one layer. Almost. I'm just gonna throw in some of these little purpley. There we go. Okay. Now the rest of it, I think I'm going to do in a brush called Conte Crayon. One of my favorite brushes. Again, this is a Kyle Webster brush, also available in his mega pack if you guys would like to download it. I'm going to grab this gold color and I think I'm going to darken it, but also desaturate it. And we can kind of get a little bit of a goldy silver color if that's, oh no, it's a little muddy. Let's saturate that a little bit more. Looks whimsical and festive. Happy New Year, by the way, Cody. Oh, thank you so much, Bruce. I hope you had a wonderful holiday as well. And we are going to... Oh, I'm undoing. Look at that. Try to keep my lines. You know what? I'm going to turn on smoothing as well. Just a little bit. I'm going to try to keep my lines smooth here. Did you guys send out holiday cards this year? I sent out Thanksgiving cards. I actually forgot to send out. I have them. I just forgot to send out my Christmas cards this year. Maybe I'll send out this card. And then actually, I just realized I didn't paint in the label for the bottle, so I'm gonna do that really quick. I think I'm going to do it a little purposefully wonky. Just kind of we're going with the abstract shapes a little bit today. At least for me. And let's see, I am going to add in a little, like a little secondary label here on the champagne. And then let's go ahead and go back to our Conte crayon. And I'm going to grab that purple and we are going to just add in a little squiggle. A little squiggle. Just to kind of indicate that there's text, but we don't necessarily need to draw in the text. It's kind of implied. And then let's go ahead and add in, let's see. Let's go ahead and add in some sparkler. I'm going to flip this upside down once again. I'm always unsure of how to draw a sparkler. I think what I've come to realize is that it's just kind of like a bunch of little lines. And it kind of like just comes together, just like kind of filling in those gaps with a bunch of different length lines. And it kind of just eventually like in more of a like a roundy shape, and it kind of eventually just looks like a sparkler. Oh, and then I also have this little branch here. I might, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to change up the sketch a little bit. Let's see if this looks nice. I might even just get rid of it altogether if it looks a little busy. Maybe, let's see. I wonder if erasing the flute here behind it a little bit might make it a little less busy. Just kind of give a little bit of space between these lines, just to kind of indicate that the flute is behind. I think I might actually just like it just fine like that. Let's turn off our sketch and see what this looks like. Yeah, I think that looks all right. Oh, you know what? Let's throw in some bubbles here. Let's go ahead and add in some little bubbles to our champagne. And I might actually, just to add some extra, oh, maybe not that light. Just to add a little bit of extra, attention to our champagne, add in some highlight colors here for our bubbles. Yeah. And let's go ahead and turn off our guides. There we go. There's our little Happy New Year card, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna break my rule. I'm gonna clean this up just a little bit. Just these lines here. They were just like sticking out just a little bit too much. Okay, that's better. Bubbles, that's how you know it's fancy. Exactly. Fancy bubbles. There's no other kind. Always fancy bubbles. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today. We were able to accomplish this card, and then we also, you know, just went through some little inspiration brainstorming session there. But yeah, I hope this inspired you a little bit to maybe create your own greeting cards or social media post or you know, email banner or whatever it is for your loved ones, whatever you might be celebrating in the future, whether it be New Year's or maybe a holiday or, you know, family celebration of any kind. But I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and thank you all so much for watching Adobe Live, and I hope you all had a great holiday, and thank you all. We will see you back tomorrow. Bye.